The story of Shadur Sanders has become one of the most fascinating sagas in modern football. A story about pressure, perception, and the fight to stay true to yourself when everyone else is trying to control your narrative. It's a story about a young man caught in the crossfire between fame and expectation, trying to find his voice in a world that's constantly trying to silence it. The criticism surrounding Shedeur isn't just about his play on the field, it's about how people interpret who he is. For some, he's arrogant. For others, he's misunderstood. But for everyone watching, he's impossible to ignore. When Shedeur walks into a room, the energy shifts. There's something magnetic about him, something that reminds fans of his father, Shadur Sanders, but also something uniquely his own. Yet, despite his confidence and calm, there's a growing tension around him that feels bigger than football. It's about control, about how the league, the media, and even fans want to shape him into what they think he should be. As one commentator put it, you can't control people. And that's exactly what this entire situation is revealing. Shadur refuses to be molded, refuses to be silenced, and refuses to perform for approval. In recent weeks, what started as a storm of backlash has begun to shift. The noise, once deafening, is starting to fade. What was once ridicule is turning into respect. And leading that shift is none other than Cam Newton, a man who knows all too well what it means to be misunderstood by the media. Newton has stepped up to defend Shedeur in a way that few others have dared to. He exposed what many have quietly whispered for months, that the criticism against Shedeur isn't just unfair, it's personal. Cam didn't mince words. He called out the double standards, the hypocrisy, and the way the league and media tear down players who don't fit their mold. Cam pointed out something that hit hard. The same behavior that makes people criticize Shedeur is often celebrated in others. When players like Jackson Dart show swagger, it's confidence. When Shedeur shows it, it's arrogance. The same actions, two completely different interpretations. It all depends on who's doing it and who's watching. Cam's message was simple but powerful. You can't control perception, and you can't control people. What makes Shedeur unique is that he doesn't try to. He just shows up, does what he's allowed to do, and lives with the consequences. That's his truth. But Cam's defense wasn't just about Shedeur. It was about a bigger issue. He said that the NFL and the media have created an environment where individuality is punished unless it's packaged the right way. He compared Shedeur's situation to his own early days in the league, where every smile, every gesture, every celebration was picked apart and used to question his character. It's not about what Shedeur's doing, Cam said. It's about who's doing it. That's what makes this story deeper than sports. It's about control, image, and the battle between authenticity and acceptance. Cam also highlighted a fascinating contradiction. Shedeur is the first fifth-round, third-string quarterback in NFL history to have this kind of fan base. The support around him is massive, and that's exactly what's making the league nervous. It's not just about his play, it's about his influence. NFL owners and executives aren't used to seeing a player who hasn't even become a starter command this kind of loyalty. It breaks the system, challenges the hierarchy, and disrupts the control the league tries so hard to maintain. That fan power, Cam argued, is what makes Shedeur dangerous to the establishment. It gives him leverage. It gives him a voice, and it gives him protection that the league can't quite handle. For a player like Shedeur, the support of millions means that even if he's silenced on the field, he can still make noise off it. That scares the system. Because when the people choose a player over the narrative, the power shifts. But not everyone in the locker room seems to share that energy. Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur's own teammate, recently took to social media with comments that raised eyebrows across the league. Gabriel subtly suggested that while others were defending Shedeur, he didn't see the need to. He implied that he was more focused on the team, hinting that Shedeur's attention might be elsewhere. The comment, while vague, was loaded with meaning. It painted Shedeur as a distraction, as someone whose presence divides the team. And whether Gabriel intended it or not, it added more fuel to the fire. That tension didn't go unnoticed. Analysts immediately picked up on the shift in tone between teammates. Was Gabriel trying to intimidate Shedeur? Or was he simply tired of the media circus surrounding him? Either way, his words created a ripple effect, deepening the cracks already forming inside the Browns' locker room. Meanwhile, the sports media kept spinning the story. Stephen A. Smith stepped in, giving Shedeur a dose of harsh truth. He said that being Shadur Sanders' son comes with a spotlight that never turns off. Everything you do is under a microscope. Stephen A. warned. That's the price of your last name. It wasn't an attack, it was advice. Stephen A. was reminding Shadur that his life will always be different, that the media will always look for ways to tie him back to his father, and that he has to play the game smarter than anyone else. Ryan Clark echoed those sentiments but took it a step further. He told Shedeur to stop avoiding the storm and face it head on. They're going to twist everything you say, Clark said. You can't control that, but you can control how you respond. His advice was direct. Be transparent, be authentic, and don't let silence give critics more room to create their own version of the truth. Clark understood the unfairness, but he also understood the game. The only way to win, he said, was to stop letting them write your story for you. That's the challenge Shadur faces now. Every move he makes is magnified, every decision dissected. When he stays silent, he's accused of arrogance. When he speaks up, he's accused of immaturity. When he plays well, critics call it luck. When he struggles, they say he's overrated. It's a cycle that seems impossible to escape. But if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, it's that Shadur doesn't back down. Cam Newton's defense of Shadur wasn't just solidarity, it was a warning to the NFL. The next generation of players isn't going to bow down to old systems of control. They're going to build their own brands, their own voices, and their own platforms. And whether the league likes it or not, fans are choosing authenticity over perfection. They're connecting with players who are real, flawed, and unfiltered. Shadur represents that shift. Still, the weight on his shoulders is immense. He's not just battling defenses on Sundays, he's battling perceptions every single day. The media sees him as a headline. The league sees him as a threat. His teammates see him as competition. And the fans? They see a reflection of something bigger than football. A young man trying to be himself in a world that constantly tells him he's wrong for doing so. As the season unfolds, one thing is clear. This isn't just a sports story anymore. It's a cultural moment. The rise, the resistance, the silence, it's all part of a larger struggle for authenticity in an age of image. Shadur Sanders stands at the center of it all, balancing legacy, expectation, and identity on a knife's edge. Whether he succeeds or stumbles, one thing is certain. He's already changed the conversation. So what do you think? Is Shadur Sanders handling the pressure the right way, or should he confront the criticism more directly? Do you believe the media has been unfair, or is this simply part of what comes with fame and expectation? Should he keep letting his play do the talking, or take back control of the narrative himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this story is far from over. And if you believe Shadur's journey is just beginning, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Because we're not just watching football anymore, we're watching a revolution unfold in real time.